Pangerman. Now, Pangerman, I told you, Panzer is the tanks, the troops. Now, short question can come. What does the Panzer mean? Panzer is this tanks of bombs that are used in it. It is a form of war artillery or ammunition. A tank with bombs in it. So then we come down to another paragraph where swastika, the word is mentioned. Now, it's an ancient Sanskrit sign that was used by the Nazis. If you look at the Nazi monogram in their shirt also, it is the swastika. In their badge, everything had to do with swastika because it resonated with their pure Aryan race race doctrination. Okay, then you come down. So black no sky could squeak through. Now this is a reference to how during World War One. Remember we talked about Luftwaffe. Luftwaffe means their air force, German air force. Now a lot of air raid happened in England, and many towns were bombarded. Now there was air raid and they were bombarded from the air by the Nazi German troops. So the sky was black. Of course, what happens when bombs come from the air? The sky will naturally be black. So then we come down. She talks about, you stand at the blackboard, daddy, in the picture I have of you. So then she talks about how, again, autobiographical element out here. Otto Plath was actually a teacher. So then she says, but she considers, look at the complex psychology playing out here. She very much missed her father. She misses him yet still, but she also hates him. So there is equal amount of hate and love. This juxtaposition of feelings makes it complex and intriguing, a very modern take on relationships. So she says that she compares him to a devil, and in, again, since nursery rhymes are here, there is a reference to the fairy tale where the devil is supposed to have a cleft foot. Okay, but here there is a cleft in the chin. His chin, the father's chin, had a cleft. So earlier it was said in children's nursery rhyme that the devil has a cleft foot. But she says, daddy, you could not fool me. I knew you were a devil, but the only difference was devil has a cleft on the foot and you have it in your chin. Interestingly, she refers to her father as a devil. But then we come down. The next paragraph is dedicated to how she missed him and she married someone who she saw as a reflection of the father. So the Electra complex of father fixation comes into being. She wanted to marry someone like her father. Of course, if we look at it from an autobiographical point of view, this is the reference to Sylvia Plath marrying Ted Hughes. And the marriage came to ended in a very bad way because she came to know about how Ted Hughes was having an affair with another man, and it is said that a question might come, what the reference to black telephone. Now there is this surreal reference to a black telephone, and it is said that she heard the woman's voice in the telephone for the first time. Okay, so this is very much autobiographical, extremely personal. Then we go on to how she talks about, she relates this man in her life to a vampire who ate her heart out for 7 years. And then she said, of course she says, that I drew a stake right through his heart. So she compares this man and of course her father to a vampire who sucks out the blood. Now, metaphorically, it means emotionally exhausting a person, psychologically devastating a person. Now, these are all literal sense. You see a vampire drinking blood. but metaphorically it means how a person is sucked out of one's energy, thrown into this extremely dark space by another human being. So there are three levels. This entire, then let's conclude it. There is, she says, there's a stake in your fat black heart, and the villagers never liked you. They're dancing and stamping on you. They always knew it was you. Daddy, daddy, you bastard, I'm through. Daddy, daddy. Again, that childish reference, sort of a nursery rhyme. Daddy, daddy, 2 times, like a child rhymes everything. But she calls him a bastard. I'm through. I'm through waiting for you. So the poem has these levels of oppressions, if you see. So there is the political oppression by the Nazi Germany to the Jews, and there is the personal oppression, first by the father's memories, father not being with the girl, and then the unfaithfulness of the husband. So there are 3 layers of oppression, and these oppressors are relatable to the patriarchal framework of a larger society. Whereas the oppressed, the Jews and the women, are clustered together as the marginalized. So the entire poem is a play between the marginalized and the oppressors, the mainstream and the fringes or the periphery. When we go back to the short questions, please remember to go through the entire poem. As I already told you, this it can be asked from anywhere, but I did give you some references that are important. The vampire reference is important. The cleft foot reference is important. Then of course the black telephone is important. The Luftwaffe is important. This is a modern poetry with its many layers, with its surreal imagery. Half of the time whatever we explain and discuss in class doesn't even make up 30% of what the poet is trying to say. So please, I humbly request you all to also exercise your own brains. Not only your brains, but also your emotions. You need emotional intelligence to do poetry, not just modern, all form of poetry, but modern, of course, needs a lot of intelligence and emotions, because they themselves said that, and they go back to John Donne, the metaphysical poet's quote, and John Donne said that I cannot feed my readers, and I cannot stoop down to the level of the readers. They have to rise to my occasion. Please do that while you are going through all modern poetry. And also the reference to Aryan is important. Please try to work on the short questions, try to form short questions, and we will meet for the next lecture soon.